interesting as the vice grip tightens in, we find out what we really believe. In the crises of life, one of two things will happen. We will either pull away from God in anger and blame God he is unjust and unkind, or in the crises of life, we will draw closer to God in a massive sense of dependence and need and trust in him. Because really, what is David going to do there? In the midst of all that's happening around him, what's he going to do? Rely on self? Well, that would be foolish. David knows his God. David has a heart after his Lord. So at his toughest time, now we find out his theology, really what's within him. See, a lot of us say the right stuff, but when the crisis hits, we find out what we really believe about the theology of God. And David right here, we find out his theology is pretty awesome. Here's the theology of David, what he does in that moment as he recalls the faithfulness of God in his past. Did you know that God is only faithful and nothing else? Do you know God can only be faithful? Why? Because he's perfect. A God who is perfect never makes a mistake. When you deem God unfaithful, he's not the problem, we are. Our judgment of God is the thing that is sinful. God is perfect. He can't be anything but faithful. David knows this. He looks in the past of his life, all the different trials he's been through. He says, God's been faithful to me, not the way I would have chosen it, not the way I would have drawn up, not the way I would have decided what would happen to me, but every single part of my God has been faithful. He looks at the God of his past, you are perfectly faithful. He looks at the God of his present, you are perfectly faithful. And then he turns now and he begins to walk in the future of his life to the God who is perfectly faithful. That is a theology that you and I can take with us every single day we live, and that's a theology that will change your life. God can only be faithful in our lives.